forward hold fundamentals. What we want to do with forward hold, we want to minimize the distance between the object that we're holding and where we're attached to the thing that we're attached to. So usually there'll be 2 points of contact, which will be your shoulders and your butt. So what we want to do is reduce this moment arm as much as possible. That's why you'll find that people with like shorter arms will be more suited to be good at this, just because the moment arm is significantly reduced, or the lever. And therefore then, like if you can hold the weight here versus here, you're going to have to produce less force to hold the weight there for the same time. So if we can try and get the object as close to our shoulders as possible while still staying within the rules, then that's got to be the goal. So a massive thing that everybody can do is actually focus on, a lot of people focus on strengthening the front delts and stuff, which is obviously going to be beneficial, having a strong upper body in general. But I think a massively overlooked thing is training the scapular retraction, or the ability to bring the shoulder blades together. And if you look at my arms here, when my arms are out in front, my elbows are locked out here, and watch how far my hands move back just by moving my shoulder blades. So a lot of people are actually restricted, and they actually struggle to get into that position where the scapula are retracted. So I would say, well, obviously work with a physio or whatever, and free off and open up this position first of all, and then build strength there and build conditioning on top or whatever. So build familiarity, spend a lot of time there, and look to maximize this as much as we can. A way that you can manipulate this, coming from, say, taking a powerlifting approach, would be if you look at, like, say, how a lot of powerlifters will set up for an arch on a bench press, where essentially they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to reduce that moment arm between the bar and they're trying to reduce the range of motion essentially between the bar and the chest. So they're trying to do the same thing with the elbows locked out. And so they're trying to achieve the same thing, because they have to stay within the same rules of the 2 points of contact. They have to stay the butt and the upper back in contact. So what do they do to achieve this? So a lot of scapular retraction work, a lot of thoracic mobility and upper spine flexibility in general. So doing stuff like, say, before you do forward hold at a comp or in training, doing stuff like, say, foam rolling your upper spine. Or even, like, say, some like myofascial release for your upper back, or just general upper back mobility is gonna really serve you well at opening up a better position. That's going to be just more efficient for the whole thing. So another thing that you can do that I find helps me is taking a wider stance with the hips. It just allows me to get into a more like extended position. And open up the hips more, a wide, stable base, feels stronger. That's generally what I'd do if I was doing, like, say, a powerlifting style bench press, that would allow more like back and hip extension. So doing stuff like, say, upper spine mobility, but also some hip mobility, some, like, say, external rotation strengthening, or hip external rotation stretches. Like the world's greatest stretch can be really beneficial. Doing some like glute bridges, some half kneeling hip flexor stretches. These are the kind of stuff that I used to teach when I taught people to do powerlifting bench press. And I used to get some people do a series of stretching that would just, like, that take a couple of minutes, that had significantly improved the bench press, just because the range of motion had decreased significantly before they come to the working sets, without actually addressing any of the pressing stuff. So again, go and implement some of this, as this can be a real game changer. And then, the wider stance can just make the whole thing feel more stable as you do it. Another thing that maybe kind of it is bending the rules, that's going to go to reducing that moment arm, is potentially wearing elbow sleeves, which is going to allow you to. Every comp pretty much that I've seen has allowed people to get away with a slight elbow bend. So looking from a competitive perspective, like, I'd be looking to find out where that boundary is, with any individual referee. So if you could, you can almost use the elbow sleeve to disguise it somewhat. So I've done it at a comp before. I've used an elbow sleeve that's almost too big, that's allowed me more of an elbow bend, that's allowed me to reduce that moment arm. Another thing that's going to reduce the moment arm significantly is when if you're using like a foot forward hold like the one in the video, like it's top heavy, so tilting the heavy bit towards your head is essentially, if you can imagine that the heavy bit now is tilted towards and the light bit is further away from your center of mass. Therefore, the center of mass is actually closer in terms of the center of mass is closer to your center of mass. So that's a good little hack. And also the other little thing, which again, it's testing your referee and seeing what you can get away with, is how high you can have it. Because obviously the higher you have your arms, the closer it's coming to you in terms of reducing the moment arm. But also you're arguably bringing in more of your front delts that maybe a little bit stronger in some people. You're bringing more stronger muscle groups into play, but biomechanical, you're putting yourself in a position that's obviously more the force that you're producing is having a greater effect. So you can see there it's tilted back towards me. Yeah. So you can see going to this other video here. This is an example of taking it to an extreme. Is the referee set me off here, and then the first thing that I would do in a competition would be take a warning, because you take a warning and you're finding your boundary, because you could just be working so hard and honest there where you could be getting away with here, and then you get into the end and then the arms are dropping and you're out. Whereas you could be starting off here, you'll get a warning, you might get yourself to, you might be getting away with here, rather than you need to find your boundary, which is dictated by your referee, which is a reason why I don't like this event, because it's so subjective and down to the referee. But if you like being ethical about it, like I'm a purist, have your arms perfectly straight. But if you want to maximize your performance and what you can do, test your referee and see where your boundaries are, and they'll be different from comp to comp. You can see how high I'm going there, and if I was reffing this, I'd say get your arms down. But I'm getting away with it. It's nicely tilted back towards my face. Feels like a really good position. Another little tip I found work for me is putting my stronger arm at the top. Seemed to work better for me, where I'm putting this arm in a stronger position to kind of be holding up, hold like in a stronger position to produce force. This isn't in quite a strong position, but I'm like doubling down on the thing that I'm stronger at. In terms of training, I wouldn't train like this. I train a little bit like that, but I'd be getting strong in a more honest position like this. So you can see here. See, even at this comp, I'm still testing. I'm taking the weight here, but then I'm lifting up. And I'm still getting away with it a little bit here. And this is like Europe's strongest man. Loads of people watching in terms of referees and helpers and stuff. You can see that this is still pretty high, or seems pretty high to me, but it's getting away with it. So yeah, test your boundaries. You can see that the wide stance from the front there, that feels good for me. Wide stance, like powerlifting bench press setup. Feels good. So this position here, I feel like you could get the tilted towards her face a little bit more and bring that center of mass a little bit closer to her body, having the light a bit further away and the heavy a bit closer. I do feel that she could get her shoulder blades more together to shorten that moment arm a little bit. And I do believe that the feet being a little bit wider will help her get her hips a bit more extended and her back more extended, which in turn will help her get her shoulders a little bit further back. So yeah, that wider stance on that will help. This looks good, but I would say that the shoulders look a little bit protracted here. It looks like you're really reaching forward like there. So actually getting the shoulder blades together. So doing exercises like, say, scapular press ups. Look that up in YouTube or whatever. Scapular press ups. Just basic rows. Like even doing some rows with your elbows extended and just doing scapular rows will help you learn how to do this, and just in turn help that moment arm be reduced. And then that little tilt towards you, I would say just tilt it back towards you a little bit and have the light bit further, push the light bit further away from you. And I would say feet a little bit wider to help get the hips in a more extended position, and just get a little bit more extended at the back. And it's all gonna almost like a powerlifting style bench press setup is going to help reduce this moment arm and help the endurance. But in terms of training, I would do. I'm a big fan of going doing more work below comp weight and building up, say, whatever your comp weight is, going what for your expected amount of time, and then adding like 10, 15, 20% onto the time, and then accumulating volume with a weight that facilitates you to be able to achieve those sets. So you're building up the specific energy system that you want to do to improve your times, basically. So you can see with Mark here, it looks really good in terms of a training weight and building strength, etc. It looks like a powerlifting setup, scapula retracted. I could say maybe get your feet a little bit wider to try and get this arch a little bit more. Imagine you're pinching an orange in between your shoulder blades. And if you were doing it in a comp, maybe trying to tilt it towards you a little bit, and hands a little bit higher in a comp, just to test the referee. Yeah, definitely test the ref when you're doing it at the competition. So you can see here he's tilting it towards him a little bit more, hands a little bit higher. It looks a really, really strong position, really good, strong training position. But I would say in competition, test your referee, start off with it higher. And I would say that final note on this would be, don't get too obsessed with going too heavy and heavier than comp weight. Train the specific energy system that you're going to be relying on when you're hyped at the comp. And when you're hyped at the comp and your comp weight feels 10, 20% lighter, you're going to be able to go a little bit longer. So when you're not hyped in training, like actually building the specific conditioning and the endurance and the mental toughness that comes with a static event like this, that grit that you can certainly develop when you feel like your arms are going to drop, but they don't, and you can still get another 10, 15, 20 seconds out. You can build up this tolerance, but only for exposure. So expose yourself to these and build it up. So don't be afraid of going too light and doing really, really long sets, because it's gonna really be valuable and also pretty easy to recover from.